Welcome to Club E. Hi, I am Rick Brimacomb of Brimacomb and Associates. I am your architect of business growth, and I'll work with you to unlock your potential and amplify the scale of your company. Today, we're talking about my top 9 lessons from 2020. First, I want to thank our 3 main sponsors: Irish Titan, an e-commerce and web development firm; Highland Bank, a family-owned community bank; Romaine Berg, a digital marketing agency. Also, people often ask how can they interact with me and benefit from the network of resources offered by Club E. First thing you can do is do what you're doing now, which is watch and listen to our Club E content. Secondly, if you're interested in a CEO business leader peer group, I'm proud to have Club E partner with Jeff Redmond in the Breakthrough Impact Group. Now you may ask, is this type of activity right for me? Well, are you a business owner struggling to find that catalyst to grow your company? Are you feeling alone in pushing your company to stay in action? Where do you go to find proven resources? And who do you know that you can trust? Again, Clubby's partnered with Jeff Redmond and the Breakthrough Impact Group. They and I are working together to build a dynamic community of business owners focused on their growth and to engage your company in building a 3-year highly achievable goal, a 3HAG, through proven world-class tools and best practices. So again, if you're a business owner looking to accelerate your growth, give Jeff or I a call, or you can send a note to info@minbig.com. That's info@min, M-I-N-N, big, B-I-G.com. All right. Additionally, folks have asked about one-on-one. You can do that directly with me. Again, you can just reach out to me for that. Email is rick@brimacomb.com. Before we get started, hit the subscribe and like button. Also, that will allow us to better serve you, our wonderful audience. And because of that, and we are listening to you folks, we are now offering Clubby up on your favorite podcast platform. All right, what are my top 9 lessons from 2020? First thing is, I have to say, attitude is everything. It's been a very tough year for a lot of people, whether it's economic challenges, health challenges, or just being cooped up in your house and away from folks. So attitude is everything. And the old saying of an attitude of gratitude can carry you far. Are you being grateful for what you have? Have you counted your blessings recently? Have you ever considered doing a gratitude journal? People often say, hey, what do I want? I want to be happy. Well, happy, I think, can come and go. So maybe a different way to look at that is what brings joy to your life? Or maybe even more importantly, what brings adventure to your life? Obviously, a little more challenging these days. But again, think about what brings you the most joy and what brings you a sense of adventure. And that tip to Tim Ferriss for the idea of that. So not so much what might make you happy, but what brings joy, adventure, and how can you be grateful for what you do have. All right, number 2, staying active and keeping physically fit. Number 1, you might say to yourself, hey, how do I do that in the lockdown? Well, number 1, you can just go out and just walk. Get you outside, sees other people, even if you're not connecting with them very much. If you don't like just walking around the neighborhood or going to a park or a lake and doing a walk, there's also plenty of virtual exercise classes or yoga classes you can do. Also, some folks have their gyms open, so you can do a workout, whether you go to the gym and do that with a trainer, or maybe get some home workout gear, do that in your basement. Benefits of this is going to reduce your stress and sleep better, and being physically sharp is going to keep you mentally sharp. So I really have found for myself that being active during the COVID lockdown has been valuable. All right, number 3, let's dive into the hardcore business stuff. 13-week cash flow. This is the fastest way for you to get a handle on the health of your business. It's going to bring better awareness as to what's actually going on a day-to-day basis, as well as allow you to keep tight controls of things. At Brimacomb Capital, we had several of our companies go through the exercise of doing the 13-week cash flow early on in the COVID days. And it was really an eye-opener for some folks as to what was going on in the business. So highly recommend that you folks out there who are finding that cash is a little tight, go through the exercise of that 13-week cash flow. If you're having any challenges with that, certainly you can reach out to us and happy to work through that with you. Number 4 is the issue of customer concentration. This used to be something that investors and buyers looked at, but it was not a top issue. It was one of the maybe top 10 or whatever, but COVID has really brought this to the forefront. So if you are highly concentrated with a small set of customers, you're going to really want to look at 2021 as a year that you either bring on new customers or bring in some new products to reduce that risk and diversify the business. This will definitely hurt you on your valuation these days if you have too much customer concentration. Number 5, single points of failure. There were a lot of single points of failure that became exposed during the COVID time period. And I think the top one would be supply chain issues. So anybody out there who has vendors or those of you providing products and materials for you to push stuff out your door, any kind of supply chain disruption really came up, especially earlier this year, but still is a little bit of a challenge. So single points of failure, whether it's a supply chain or maybe it's in your management team. Are you doing cross training to bring people up to speed? We'll get into EOS later, but are you using tools like EOS to bring people further along in their career? And have you gotten 2 people deep in certain areas? Those things have all shown to be an issue this year in the COVID time period. So again, what kind of single points of failure might you identify as an issue? I should remind everybody that you can submit your questions. Just go to the comments field, put it in there, and we will weave it into our conversation. Similarly, you can hit the subscribe button and become a part of the Clubby community. Love to have you join us here. While it's all virtual now, we will at some point in time be going back to in-person as well. So again, hit the subscribe button. All right, so of the things we learned in 2020, and these come from, by the way, my perspective, which is a holistic view at the business. It's more of a horizontal approach and one that probably has shareholder value first and foremost. So I'm not looking at things just as a marketing person or just as a CFO or for that matter, not just through the lens of the CEO. It's more of a holistic approach. And these are things that I saw became an issue at my portfolio as well as other business owners that I talked to. All right, number 6 on that list of 9 things I've learned this year was being relationship-centric versus transactional. Again, relationship versus transactions. That's really going to do a lot to improve your standing with your existing customers. And those existing customers are way more valuable to you, much easier to continually improve your relationship with them versus selling new customers. So go ahead, for those of you out there, put a little loving onto your existing customers, do a little extra for them. Maybe ask yourself questions like, how can you improve your offering to better serve them? How can you improve your value proposition to better serve your customers? How can you support them in the various endeavors that they're doing, maybe beyond what you just provide as a product or service to them? And then last but not least, how can you support them personally? Each and every one of your customers also has a personal life, whether it's any health issues that are going on in their family or issues with their children. Classic one would be they have a child looking for a job and you help that person get their son or daughter a job or an introduction that maybe leads to a job. So again, asking yourself, how can you support your customers both better as a business, but beyond that on a more personal basis? All right, getting into the weeds a little bit from a financial point of view for those folks out there who maybe aren't as versed in the math of business or show a little less interest in that. But Here's the acronym LTV, which stands for lifetime value, and CAC stands for customer acquisition costs. So what is the ratio of lifetime value to your customer acquisition costs? And this is, again, point number 7 on our list today of the 9 things that we have learned at Brimacomb Capital regarding 2020. So the first part of this is, do you understand the lifetime value of your customers? How long do those customers usually stay with you? What's the annual price range or fee that they're paying? And when you look at those two together, you can zero in on a lifetime value, or at least a range of lifetimes values for your customer. All right, how about the other acronym CAC, customer acquisition costs? Do you know the actual acquisition cost for new customers? Do you understand that concept of those acquisition costs? We are looking at the various marketing efforts. We are looking at the costs of those marketing, as well as the inside people used to produce a new customer. And do you have a handle on those customers? Additionally, is it all marketing, or how much do you have to spend on a sales side to convert a prospect into a customer? Anyway, all those costs of acquiring a new customer we want to look at. And then we want to measure that CAC, customer acquisition cost, against the lifetime value of a customer. So if the lifetime value of a customer is some number greater than CAC, obviously it better be, or you're going to be losing dollars every time you bring in a new customer in the door. Although every once in a while there's a crazy business model that somehow thinks that's sustainable, but not me, and not generally for long with the investment community. Anyway, so again, what is the ratio of your lifetime value to your customer acquisition costs? If you have not calculated it before, a ratio of less than 3 is considered not very attractive. A ratio between 3 to 6 is considered in the sweet spot. And a ratio of greater than 6 assumes that you're not spending enough on acquiring customers. And if you spent more, you could grow faster. So let's put some real dollars to that. Let's say it costs you $100 to acquire a new customer. And let's say that customer, well, let's put another 0 on there. Let's say it adds another 0 and it costs you $1,000 to generate a new customer, but they generate on an annual basis, let's say $6,000, and let's say they only stay with you for a year. So you get a 6x return. That return is in the range of reasonableness. So again, a 6x of lifetime value to customer acquisition cost does make sense. Let's make the numbers a little bit longer than that. Let's say you have a sticky product or service. People sign up through a subscription, like a SaaS product with software. And let's say folks stay with you for 10 years. So that same customer that was generating $6,000 a year over the case of 10 years, that's $60,000. So you might want to be spending, or be willing to spend $20,000 to acquire that customer, because you're still going to see a nice return of 3x in that example of that lifetime value to your customer acquisition cost. So again, the two metrics are lifetime value of customer, how much they spend with you on an annual basis, times how long they stay with you, and the customer acquisition cost, that cost to acquire a new customer. And the sweet spot is 3 to 6. If anybody would like to dig into that a little bit more, again, feel free to reach out to me. All right, number 8. How about, and I love this one because I got some unsolicited feedback from one of our portfolio companies recently, which is why it made the list. I would like you folks, and hope that you all try to become more scorecard centric in 2021. That means a couple of things. Number one, you need to understand your KPIs and monitor your business health closely. All right, that also means that you're going to have to sit down, and if you don't have those 3, 6, 10, 15 key metrics that you're looking at every month. You need to define those. But let's come up with a scorecard that you feel good about that's going to measure the health of your business. This is just simply a good practice, much like brushing your teeth or exercising. It's just something you're going to want to do on a regular basis, a minimum of monthly. So develop that list of KPIs, and then let's make business decisions around what those are telling you over this period of time, whether, again, we're looking at it weekly, biweekly, or monthly. The email that I referenced from a portfolio company, I want to paraphrase it a little bit and read a little bit of this to you, came from the gentleman who leads marketing in his email. And I would say that this email was unsolicited to me, really made my heart sing from a business perspective, as well as I felt good that he was willing to share it with me. So the email goes, I so appreciate how you forced us to become disciplined in tracking our data and using it for forecasting and decision making. Some board calls were tough, but in hindsight, pulling apart our dashboard every month helped keep us focused. So this gentleman, again, leading marketing, was willing to take the time to send that email. And then when I followed up with a phone call, talked through it, and really what it told me was that as difficult as sometimes it was for him, and also the challenge of pulling that together on a regular basis, was that he achieved much value from it, and it continues to drive the business forward. I also might mention that this company has been growing significantly faster in the last handful of years as compared to what they were doing before they started managing the business with the dashboard. And then number 9, last but not least, I mentioned this earlier, is EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System. For those of you who don't know about this, it is a management system for running your company. Book is Traction, which maybe you folks have heard about it. I've had a couple of EOS implementers over the years speak on Club E. Why am I putting it on this list of top 9 things I've learned in 2020? Is that I have multiple portfolio companies that are using EOS now, and I also have several CEO advisory clients utilizing EOS as well. I have seen those folks made substantial progress since using the system, and even so much as to say after 1 or 2 of the weekly 90-minute meetings, I can see communication improving and progress being made on being more metric and scorecard driven, which then goes to, hey, why bother? Why is the EOS system valuable? Not being an implementer myself, but just speaking from working with several companies utilizing it. I mentioned the scorecard earlier. EOS is scorecard driven. We are going to identify the key metrics for managing the business, and then we're going to look at those weekly. All right, so it's scorecard driven. Number 2, it takes short-term issues and feeds those into the long-term, and then rolls it all up into the here and now, the plan of here and now, of how we're going to get from point A to point B out in the future. And so the planning component and the measurement component really connects today with the future. And I believe that's an important part of EOS. Number 3, it opens up good communication channels between the entire team, not just the business leader with that second layer of management, but the entire team. It helps the entire team communicate better. And it also increases accountability across the team. I've seen, as I mentioned, again, these results firsthand, and I've seen these companies make dramatic improvement using EOS. And so there you have it. Thanks for your time today. Thanks for your ongoing support. This was my top 9 lessons for 2020. Club E is blessed to have you in our community. Thanks for joining the community. Thanks for making it strong. Want to wish you the best in 2021. And for anybody who would like to learn more about the Club E community, anybody who'd like to learn about those peer groups for CEOs and business leaders, or want to talk one-on-one coaching, feel free to reach out to me. Again, the email's rick@brimacomb.com. And hopefully you can make 2021 great for your business. Love to help you with that. I know 2020 was good for our portfolio. We had an exit. We had companies raise outside capital. We had companies grow 30% top line. Even in the face of COVID, Brimacomb Capital had a wonderful 2020. And if there's some learnings that we can bring to you, happy to do that. Would enjoy that opportunity. So again, feel free to reach out. Thank you and all the best in 2021. Thank you.